Alright, assume you are asked to implement a program to count the number of characters, words, and lines in a text file named file.txt. You know there's a Unix system utility program called word count. Okay, we know that. You want to create a child process that will execute binwc and have the child receive the input data from the parent over a pipe. The parent process, your program will read in the file.txt one character at a time and send the character to binwc over the pipe. Implement that program.
Looks
like everything else is the same as before. Wait, where'd my pencil go? There you go. Okay. So let's take a look at this, right? You want to create a child process that will execute binwc and have the child receive input data from the parent over a pipe. So this time it's parent to child. This is going to be our binwc. And the parent will read in the txt file. Okay, so we're going to have ourselves a pipe here. This is going to write in from fd1, and this is going to read in fd0. So start out int fd2, pipe it. Alright, so let me see how they do this with the file. Okay, so just our normal dupe process for the child, exec it over it, and then the parent is going to open it down here, and it'll do the reading process. Okay, this is the only different part over here.
I understand.
Alright, cool.
So it's saying while read F2, I think it's just saying while there's more characters left, just write in to the pipe, and then once it's done, close it. But I don't, yeah, there's no like wait PIDs or anything. It's just like it finishes and then it runs the process. That's what it looks like. But I don't know what the &ch thing means.
At character, probably? Like read the character? Maybe the buffer.
I mean, when you do %c, is that passing it in by reference? I don't remember.
Yeah, that would be it. At least that's how it is for C++. I would think it would be the same for C.
Yeah.
So
you read it in character by character, and then for each character you just write it, I guess.
yeah, which I guess that makes sense, right? You're reading it in from the file. We just changed that to be fd2, that way we don't have to, keep saying file.txt. And you're going to, so whoever had the question about closing, it's just closing the file. Close fd2.
Yeah.
So let's see, for this one we have int fd2 is equal to, we want to open. So we have the name of the file. And then 0 read only. Okay, so that's just because we're reading it. I guess it would be different if we're writing it to the file. I wonder if there's going to be a question on that. Okay, and then we call character ch. So we have our while loop here. So while we can read things, while there's still characters left, reading from the file, we're reading to a character. and we're reading 1. So the name of the file, where we're going, and the buffer, how much we're reading. Well, there's characters left that we can read. We're going to write each one over to we're writing into FD1. We're just going to write in our character, and we're writing 1 at a time. So write is working the same way as we've done before. We have where we're going, what we're writing, just the character, and how much we're writing. So that part seems to be pretty straightforward. Okay, yeah, that's not too bad. All right, so that's for the parent, and now for the child, right? So we want to say if fork. Now again, there's a pipe between the parent and the child, therefore we don't have to worry about waiting for any PID. So if fork is equal to 0, right? Well, what am I doing? This is going to be the child process, and it's just going to take in the WC program. So just like before, we want to dupe, and we're going to dupe that FD0 goes into 0, so the standard input. Now we are good to close what we don't need anymore. So anytime that we do dupe, we want to close whatever we duped. And we also want to close whatever we're not even using in the first place, which is going to be the write, which is going to be FD1 as well. Right, now we are good to exec. And we're going to say the name of this, so bin WC, then just the WC part of it. My handwriting's getting worse as the night's going on. And we are going to do null. Okay, awesome. This is the end of the child. We want to have the parent tie up any loose ends. At this point, you're done with reading things in. We're not going to use FD0 anymore, so I can close that. Now we have, again, this part here, which is going to be the read part. I just want to try to write it out one more time by myself. So int FD2 is equal to open the name of the file, so the txt, and what are we opening? Open read only.
Does it specify that read only is for, like, does it specify how to use file in the problem statement or no? I don't think so, right?
Nope.
Yeah, so you just gotta remember it's O_R only, or RD only. And I think write is W only.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Or O_W only.
Hopefully there's one that has that. Okay, so we have that. We have where we're writing it to, so character CH. We're going to have our double while loop. So while there are things that we can read, so we read from the file FD2, and we're going to read a character in, call that by reference. We're reading 1 at a time, and while that is greater than 0, we'll be able to write. What are we writing to? Well, we're going to write to FD1, simply 1 character, and then at this point, close the file, close the place we're writing to, which is FD1, and then at that point we're done. Okay. This part is just a repeat, by the way, so I'm just gonna get rid of this. Okay. So that's the end of that question. So it's really this part that's just a little different. Let's do another one. Almost there. Just 3 more of these guys to go. I just want to get through everything. Okay, we have a counter C. Huh?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, okay. It takes 1 argument, a file name, and counts the number of characters, words, and lines in the file, and then prints them out on the screen on separate lines. Okay, sample like that. Instead of implementing the program, use word count. Use things that already exist, which counts the number of characters, blah, blah, blah. We know this already. Implement the program. Okay, your program must create a child process to run the bin. So from parent.
Isn't this what we did in the last question? What's the difference?
Now it's coming from the command line.
Needs its input from file passed to your program community.
Ooh. There's this.
Scan F. What the fuck? I don't even know what I'm looking at.
Neither do I.
So it's taking in the file and it assigns the file input to its standard input, and then it runs binwc. Okay, and then what does it do there from there? Num lines, num words.
I think it's supposed to take
I don't even know what I'm looking at.
I think it's supposed to take this from the command line arguments, like the parts up here.
Is it even interacting with argv?
Maybe not.
I don't even know what I'm looking at. Tube 2. It is writing. Okay. So I see that it is assigning the screen descriptor to FD1. So it's making its standard input become the standard output become the input of the pipe. And then it's opening the file. And here it's making the standard input be the contents. Wait, are we writing anything to the file or no? No, right? Yeah, we're just reading.
Yeah, just read only.
Child exec file text.
This is coming from this file. So this time, wait, the child is sending to the parent? Or no? Oh, wait, yeah.
And it's reassigning FD as well.
The child process will send
Sorry,
out
what's
its
happening?
results over the pipe to your program. Oh, wait a second. I think what you're doing is you're taking this output here that you get from doing this command and just making it look pretty.
Mm-hmm. So you're making it look like that?
Yeah.
Are you able to zoom in a little bit? Just a little bit more. There we go. In lines. I'm a bit confused because we never do like wait PID or anything.
Well, this has a pipe between the two programs, so there's no need for that because it has to wait anyway. Like, the parent can't finish until the child sends it over.
I'm saying, where is it waiting for on dupe 2? Like, it. Oh, I think it's because the standard input becomes the read of FD0, and I think scanf uses the standard input.
Yeah.
And so it's waiting, and yeah, I think that's why. Okay.
Yeah, parent is waiting for the child this time, so I
Yeah.
see how this works.
So it says num lines, num words, num characters.
Okay. Actually, wait. Yeah, this isn't too bad, actually. Okay, I see how this works.
Yeah, I think it was just the scanf was confusing.
Yeah, so, okay, this is literally just saying, take the output that came from this pipe, it goes into parent, and instead of just printing it out like we're used to, just like print to the console, this is just like a bunch of extra crap that's just saying, hey, format it like this. Format it like what was given to us over here. So honestly, don't even really worry about this part. Honestly, just focus on the pipe part itself. Like, this is just pretty much just printing like the stuff itself. Scanning is saying to scan, take in each of these parameters, so the number of lines, the number of words, number of characters, and that way you can use them as variables here, because printf for C works really weird in the sense that you have to have the where you're putting like kind of a placeholder here, like, hey, this is a digit, right? And that gets put from here into here. So you're scanning it, right? Scan it in, and this gets taken, from the standard input that just came from this, and then you're just formatting it like that. So that's really not horrible.
And the pipe is getting the output from the file.
Yeah, so, okay, the parent is going to fork the child's first, right? So that's why we want to do if fork is 0, and from here, what is the child doing? Well, the child is going to be handling this time the stuff that's getting written to the pipe. So we're going to do a dupe source destination. What am I not using? All right, well, I ain't using this. Close FD1, close FD0. And at this point, what else am I doing? Well, I want to make sure I exec the program, and I have to open up a file for that first. So we're going to do, once again, int FD. Wait, they called it FD? I guess I overwrote the...
Lauren.
Huh?
Lauren, I have a question. How are the values mapped to the num lines, num words, and num characters mapped back to the values from word count from bin WC?
Okay, so it comes from the it gets put through the pipe, right? And C is going to do the exec L. So at this point, we'll get to there eventually. Exec L of bin LS, bin WC, okay, whatever. this output gets sent through the pipe to the parent. The parent does a dupe command over here, meaning that the input of the pipe gets taken in as standard input. So whatever commands I'm going to have over here, which are just normal command line arguments, is going to get the input from the pipe, as said by this dupe command. So
It's done by the scanf, right?
exactly.
Yeah, it's because the scanf, like, there is no wait PID, but the scanf, what it does, it like takes in keyboard input, but you see that how the keyboard input is being mapped to the read of the pipe. The read of the pipe contains the output of bin WC, and so it like that's why you don't need wait PID, because it's just waiting for some input as soon as you run scanf. Once it gets that from the pipe into 0, then it runs it, and then you're able to do the rest.
Okay, thank you.
So here's like where you print and scan whatever. Yeah, so this part, you have all of that coming from here. When this got exec'd, this has an output. This output gets sent to this input, and then you can do whatever you want with it. So this is just saying scan this, right? It takes the number of lines, number of words, and number of characters, and it plops them in right here. So now I can just print this out, number of characters, number of words, number of lines. All I'm doing is duplicating how this looks. So that's what makes this one confusing. But if you remember, like, where things are going, then it's not too bad, right? We fork the child, and we set that up so that, you know, the child is going to do the writing. We set that up. We open up our file. The only thing I'm a little confused... Oh, because this is an int. Okay. This professor, please use different variables. So I got confused for a second because you have int fd2, which is an integer array, and then this is just an integer value. So this is just the file.
I think the only reason he reads the same variable name is because everything is closed by that point. Like, if you see up there, fd0 is closed, fd1 is closed, so fd is just blank at that point.
Yeah.
And so that's why you use the same thing.
Makes
It doesn't have to
sense.
be. If, like, you get this question on the exam, you can use whatever you want.
Yeah, low-key, I'm just saying file or f or whatever. For this part, I'm just going to say file. So file txt, and this is going to be one that we are going to 0 rd only. Right. And at this point, okay, right, we set this as the input. Oh, so it's as if we're doing 2 pipes almost. Okay. So we need to input a txt file here. So there's going to be an fd like 0 over here. Or actually, no, because we don't even need that. So instead of having an actual pipe, like file descriptors, the file itself is just going to be sent as, treated as standard input. So I'm not even using a pipe here. I'm just saying that, hey, this file is going in here as standard input. So not even with a file descriptor, it's just straight up 0. And that's how we're using the dupe2 command, because you can have, you don't have to have a file descriptor there. You could have whatever you want and just have that as the standard input. So now when I have that, I use my dupe2 command just as before. My source is going to be my file, and my destination is going to be standard input. Now when I exec this, this exec child process, right? This is bin WC. What is it taking in as input? The file, because we set that as 0. That gets written into the pipe, and then the parent takes that same thing as input. So it's almost like a three-way kind of thing. That one was a little confusing, honestly. Any questions?
Yeah, I think it's just mainly just the file thing, but I think it's all about memorization at that point. Like just memorizing the syntax for the files and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree.
I think there's an example where he writes to a file too.
So basically, the pipe reads the output of the file, right?
Yeah.
Or
The pipe takes in the output of the file.
oh, okay.
Well, actually, no. Sorry, I'm wrong. The pipe takes in the output of running bin WC, but bin WC takes in the file itself, like the text inside of it.
Yeah. So the file goes
And
in
that's done.
as input to the child's process. And that child's process,
Yeah.
we are putting into the word count, right? So this input goes into the word count, and the output of this goes into the parent.
Yeah. And remember, that's because you see on that line above below, taken in the file, dupe2 FD0, you're assigning where the file is to 0, which 0 is standard input. So you're putting the file in the standard input, and then when you run execl, it checks, okay, what's in the standard input? It's all this text. It takes it, and it runs the program. And then when it runs the program, it outputs to the screen. But what's at the output? If you look at right below the if statement, dupe2 FD11, right? The one that's on the screen is FD1, which is input to the pipe. So whatever gets outputted from execl gets put into the pipe, and then it's ready to read from the pipe. But then if you check right outside the if statement, from the reading, FD0 is put into standard input. And so standard input is ready to be read by scanf. It's a lot, but yeah.
Honestly, at this point, if you're kind of lost by this, honestly, that's okay. Focus mostly on
Yeah.
understanding this. If you can understand this, then it's just a matter of where do you put different pipes to open and close. I kind of feel like he wouldn't give this problem, but I don't want to take chances either, you know?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little confusing.
Yeah.
As long as you can like read through this and like get some of the syntax down for like opening a file and stuff, you could at least get some points if you were to ask this.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to bet on which one would be on the exam, I kind of feel like that double pipe might be. Like the one that we did with like the two processes.
Double pipe with dupe.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that.
Like
Yeah.
where there was like two pipes, like FD1, FD2.
Yeah, this
Yep.
one I feel like might be. I kind of feel like the first two were a little too simple. I don't know. Probably an exec one, perhaps. Maybe this one. I think something in the middle. That's what I think. I don't think it would be one of the super hard ones or one of the super easy ones. Not that it's easy, but
It'll definitely be. I think it'll definitely be a double pipe.
yeah.
Double pipe with some form of dupe, because he said dupe2 is on it.
Yeah. A question, Justin. Dupe and Dupe 2, is that like the same, honestly?
No, dupe is just a typo that he made while writing on the board. Dupe doesn't exist. It's just dupe2, DUP2.
Alright. kind of funny.
Yeah. Because he was like just writing like pseudocode. Same way how like when he puts way PID, he only puts in PID. He doesn't put null and zero.
Yeah, okay. Low-key, I kind of feel like, I mean, since we are rating it, I think maybe pseudocode would be sort of tolerated, but, yeah, let's just not
I
take
would just to be
chances.
safe, like put everything.
Dupe does exist, but it just returns like the lowest numbered file descriptor. So it doesn't have a specific parameter to specify what thing you're taking.
Okay, well, as far as we know, we're gonna be given, like, what to use, so, like, if he says dupe, if he says dupe 2, use whatever he
He's
tells
gonna
you.
say dupe too. I don't think he's gonna use dupe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he'll have, like, the how it works here, too. I mean, that's kind of... This seems to be the recurring trend. Okay.
Yep. And that's pretty much it for pipes. It's learning how dupe 2 and execv are like the most important parts though, and understanding that FD0 is for readings of the pipe and FD1 is for writings of the pipe, and then 0 is for standard input, 1 is for standard output. So usually, like, let's say something says you want to read into the pipe the standard input. Remember, FD1 is to read, it's right into it, and the output is also 1. So usually I see a trend where it's like dupe 2 FD11 and dupe 2 FD00. I feel that's usually the case.
Yeah, usually you'll have
But
to
it
do
all
that
depends on
somewhere.
what he gives.
Yeah, usually if you have to do one, you'll have to do the other somewhere. So if you know
Yeah.
where to put them, then it makes it a little easier.
Yeah, if you draw it out, it makes it a lot easier too.
Okay. I'm leaving this one till the end. We just finish the last 2 of these and then go with that one. 11 and 12. Okay, let's just see if anything differs and then go from there.
I think this one's just writing.
Right only. Okay. Okay. Yeah, let me just, honestly, at this point, let's just see what the differences are and just learn from those. Okay. So we have bin WC takes its standard input from a file and sends its standard output to out txt. Okay, so this time we have 2, alright, we're taking input in and we're doing output out. So we have FD, actually, I don't even know if we need a pipe for this because it's just one process. I think we could just use the 0 operator, low-key. We could do a dupe to make this into 0, that into 1, and then this into, wait, hang on a second. No, I'm sorry, the other way around. And 1, 0. Okay, so, yeah. We only have one process, so we want to make sure that we're waiting for this. The parent is not going to be the one doing things. So this is why we're going to have the PIDT. Okay, we're going to fork that. So we're going to have int fd is equal to open. This guy is going to be read-only, right? This is what we're reading from. So we're going to have int fd is equal to open file.txt 0 read only. Alright, and then we have to make this into standard input. into this, right? So actually we don't even need this one because we're not writing to the file, so who cares about that? So all we care about is that we're reading into the WC process. So what we're going to do is we're going to make we're going to dupe to FD, which is our file, and make that into the input. So now anything, it's going to input into this guy here. Close the file. We don't need to worry about that anymore. Okay, and then at this point also the child, we want to make this writing into this guy over here. So we're going to dupe again. Actually, we want to make a file again. So we could overwrite this guy now with this. That end. FD is equal to open out.txt. This time it's OWR only. So this one's write only. This one is read only. Apologies that my handwriting is getting illegible. So now I can once again dupe. I just read that already. Okay, so we're gonna dupe this new FD, right? We just overridden, so it's fine. With 1, because we're gonna write, and we can close FD for good now. So we can use FD twice here because we closed it over here and closed it over here. So this is like dealing with pipes, but instead of having them like as a read and a write end, this you're just reading a file, so we're making it a 0, and this we're writing it, so we're gonna make it a 1. And then once all of our pipes are all together, we could do our execl. So this is just the same execl that we've done and ends our statement there. And at that point, the parent is not doing anything, so we're going to be done with that once we wait.
Seems pretty easy. I think it's just you put the file that you want to read onto file descriptor 1, and it just does it automatically for you. Seems pretty simple.
Yeah, so low-key, your input file is going to be made into 0, and your output file is going to be made into 1, because this process here is going to be reading from the input and writing to the output. It's the same thing otherwise.
Yep. Easy. Unless, for example, you have like a different situation where you want to read into the contents, you want to read the contents of the file into the pipe, then it would be going into FD0, but like in a loop, you would have to write it into that. But that's about it, I think.
Yeah, you could make like another pipe for that, because like this is just a file descriptor just to hold the file. So like if you wanted to have it, am I still there? I don't know if I'm still there. Yeah, so if you wanted to have like instead of it going like, or if it going from like an out text to a new file or a new thing or something, you could have another pipe to bring it to somewhere else. So similar to like the 2-pipe example. So this is using the files almost like pipes, but notice that this only has one end and this only one has one end. So yes, there's 2 ends total that connect to this W, but it's like you're not really dealing with an FD0 and FD1 like we did in the past. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this last problem, please.
This is the last one, right?
Yeah.
Mike's here, Mike.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, Mike, hi!
You guys are grinding the whole night.
Yeah.
I think this is the last question.
There's an output question that we have to do after this, but this is the last coding question, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
The test tomorrow?
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, okay.
After the
Good luck.
code,
I didn't.
after the output one, I think I'll probably head to bed and then just wake up in the morning and study. It's probably the best choice.
Yeah, I'm gonna low-key just like let this sink in a little bit, and then tomorrow just kind of reinforce the confusing ones, and yeah, hope for the best.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is kind of the same situation with the file. You're taking this as input, putting it into this guy, and then putting it into this guy. Let's finish off strong with this last one, and then call it a night. Well, and the other one, but yeah. So we're gonna take file.txt, send this as input to cat, and then send that as output to WC. So this will require a pipe for this part at least, the parts that aren't dealing with the file. So cat is going to write into WC, who's going to read it. This guy, we don't have to worry about anything. All we care about is that this is going to get inputted into cat. So the parent is going to fork these guys. There's two processes here, so that's going to be two processes that get forked. We only care about tracking one of them. So parent and...
I'm so sorry. This is just bincat is reading the entire file and then just outputting the file itself, like the text inside, and then that is getting inputted into BinWC, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's any writing to files done here, so that's good. Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna fork our first child. This is cat. If fork is equal to 0. Alright, we want to take in the input for this guy. And we also want to set the pipes. So probably setting the pipes is best. That way we could get rid of the old FD1 and stuff. So we're going to dupe 2, FD1 is 1. That sets this guy up over here. So this is just a simple thing. It's just adding on this extra file. So I can close FD1, and I can also close FD0 since we did kind of make that over here. So that is that. And now we want to read this dude in. So we can say FD is equal to, whoa, wait. Oh, you could just put that in the process. That makes things way easier. Wait, so then how did it...
It's just the parameters. I think you can do either way. You can either read it in yourself and then pass it through, or then just pass it through the parameters. But parameters is just takes away an extra step.
Low-key, I'd rather do that. Oh, wait, it takes its standard input from that. I mean, honestly, I'd prefer to do that low-key. Actually, yeah. Wait, this is okay, this is the difference. This one is saying the standard output of the first child. This whole thing is the child, basically. We're taking in this guy with this parameter in here. The other one was saying have this be the standard input. So if it says
if it doesn't explicitly say to have as a standard input, you can just pass it in as the parameter.
Yeah, so this is saying the standard input, so the other one we had to actually rewrite it, reroute it, like how this was, but that makes things honestly way easier. So this we don't have to worry about. This cat is gonna have the parameter, whatever this file's name is. So with that being said, all we need to do is, we don't have to reroute anything. I don't have to like do dupe on FD or any of that. So I can just say exec L, and I can say bin w, no, cat is the name of it. Right, cat, then it's cat, and then it's going to be the name of the file, I believe. And then null, right? Awesome. So, full name, end, file name, null. If it doesn't say that the file has to be the standard input, just pass it as a parameter. Make it easy for yourself. Now that that's done, right, exec L, end of this guy here. This cat is done. Now we have WC here. So, is my parent waiting for something? Yeah, parent is waiting. I need to use wait PID. Cool. Alright, so we have brain fart. Okay, so I need to close anything. I want to close FD1. I'm no longer writing anything in. But I want to keep FD0 open because I still am going to be using that. And now I'm good to do my PID T is equal to PID. Alright, if PID is equal to fork is equal to 0. Running out of room. Okay, so if that's equal to that, this is the child WC. What is WC doing? We're going to do a dupe, get this into standard input, source, destination, close the old one. FD1 was already closed here, no need to close it again. Now I can exec, right? Please tell me yes. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Exec L. Now I'm going to do the WC command. So this is bin.wc, bin/WC. WC. It's the standard input, so no parameters needed, and null. Okay, and that's the end of the child, because again, this marks the end. No need for an exit 0. Okay, back to the parent. This guy is open. I'm going to close him up. FD0. I can call my wait PID on the PID. Null 0. Print whatever crap I want. And return 0. Okay, I am done. And I am over this.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, not too crazy. It's just a whole bunch of things to memorize, like a whole different bunch of cases. And that's, I think, what makes it harder. But it's recurring patterns. Now this monstrosity. And then that's it. I'm ending this right after this one. What would the output?
What does this one say?
Weird.
This one doesn't look too bad.
You mind taking the lead on
L
this
is
one,
equal
Justin?
to 6. Yeah, I'll do it.
Thanks.
Just put this picture up again so I get to screenshot it.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay. Alright, I'll share my screen. So yeah, again, for these output questions, the best way to do it is to do the circles. So let me just my tablet again. Yeah, so doing the circles is the best way. Right over here, I'm going to start off with A. And again, you're always going to start off in P1. So in P1, it looks like we have a PID. It's unassigned right now. And then we also have the pipe. Okay. And then we also have L is equal to 6. Okay. I'll also just write the pipes because why not? I'll just put that there. Okay. So it says write to the screen main entered, right? So the first thing we're going to write is main entered. Okay. And then it creates a pipe. Then it says if PID is equal to fork, so we fork P2. Again, we have the PID now. This now has a value. It's dot, 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 dot. This is 0. L is 6. And FD still exists. FD is 2. But let's see. Do we have like an else? Okay. So we see that we have an else, but it doesn't automatically wait PID. It says write FDS 0. L size of int. What the fuck does that mean?
So that's
I
writing.
think size of int is like the amount of bytes that an integer is. And then this is just passing in L to FDS 0. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, so that's what
So
you're writing. You're writing what's getting given to you from the pipe because that's the read, right? FDS 0.
yeah, so we go ahead and we write. So now FDS 0, the pipe contains the value of L, which L is the number 6. And then it says wait PID, right? So we wait PID, and once we wait PID, remember we forked. Wait, hold on. Oh yeah, this should work. I was confusing myself for a second. If I do this right, after it's already been forked, it's still gonna affect P2, right? That should be fine, okay. So then here, we wait PID, V, we have a new variable called V, it's equal to 0. And it says read FDS1. Wait. I just realized a writing into FDS1 isn't 0 for reading.
Yeah, we're writing
And
into the
reading-
character L. That's why it has the ampersand.
No, I'm saying over here, FDS 0.
So it's saying take it from FDS 0. So take it from from what's getting read from the pipe, and you're changing L. That's where it's going to. That's where it's getting written.
Oh,
to.
gotcha. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
So whatever is
And
getting.
then reading.
Yeah.
Thing
So-
is here, reading, that's what I don't understand. Because that's FDS 1.
So that's writing. Okay. This is where it gets really confusing. So this is saying, wait, read. Okay, V
Mistake.
gets written into the
First.
pipe.
B gets written into
The pipe itself. And then that pipe gets sent into where it says write FDS 0, and it gets sent in to be L. So whatever the value of V is going to be L. So I think it's probably
I think
gonna.
what's confusing is just that it's.
Yeah, this one's really confusing, honestly. I'm thinking that it might just be printing out V is V, right? V is 0 for that part. And then the second print statement,
We don't know if it's 0 because it initially is 0, but then it's saying read into V, but it's saying FDS 1.
can you plug this into the compiler?
Just,
Like would it go through?
yeah. Can you just send me like? Actually, I think I got it. Hold on, give me 1 second. Set up WSL for this. So let's see if it works. What number is this again?
10, I think.
Here it is. Okay. Just copy it.